All right. So I am going to mute everybody out. So if you're going to be one of the speakers, you are definitely going to want to unmute yourself. And here we go. Hey, everybody, welcome to the call. This is JP University, which happens every Monday night at 5:30 p.m. Pacific. We try to keep this call under a half hour. And the whole idea of this is just like anything else that you do, like when you went to school, when you went to the university or a college, community college, you did it because you had something in mind. There was something that you needed to learn, some skills you needed to develop. And so that's what this is designed to do, to be exactly that. So welcome to the call. Tonight, I believe it's class 11, maybe it's class 12. I should have looked at it. I said I was going to look it up and I didn't. Doesn't really matter. But it's going to be a great call tonight because it's perfect timing. This is the first Monday of the month. And for all of you that are new and don't know this, the first Monday of every month, we all do something called the shred together. And it's 10 days of shifting your lifestyle, a lot or a little, depending on what you're looking for. And so we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to shred, how people feel when they shred, how do we invite our friends and family to shred with us. And the last one is how to keep people shredding, how to keep re-inviting people back and forth, back again and again to shred with us. So they do it over and over again, because as we know, anytime you start a new habit, the more often you can do it, the more likely you are to continue to do it, and the more likely you are to do is to get even better at it. So with all that said, welcome, welcome. I'm Nikki Cotton, and I've been with the Juice Plus company for over 30 years. It's been a little bit over time. So I'm going to introduce two people that I'm excited about. Let's see, let me do them both. So Carrie Davis and Kristen Finley, and I've invited them on the call. Maybe I should even make me big. I don't know. Let me see. All right. So here's the three of us, because I'm going to do a little interviewing tonight. And if you put your cameras, your view on speaker view, you'll see the three of us a little bit bigger than if you just have everybody thumbnail size. But I'm excited about this because we've all started the shred at different times. Do you remember at what year the shred started, what we all started doing it? Do either of you remember?
I started doing it in March of 2017. So I don't know when, that's when I kind of started doing a group. So I don't know when everyone else started.
Do you think it was before that, Carrie?
Yeah, I started when it was known as Transform 30.
Right.
And then it switched over to the Shred 10.
And
so I've been doing it since 2010.
Oh, so since 2010. So that's the first time I did it as well. So the shred has been around and just changed names a little bit since 2010. And so just to give you just a little piece of information, when I first started our Juice Plus products in 1993, all we had was the red and the green, the fruits and the veggies. The berries came along, Complete came along, the Omegas came along, the Tower Garden came along, our bars came along, and now Perform is the newest product in our line. But Carrie, tell us a little bit of your story about how you got started, maybe just a little bit of how you got started on Juice Plus, but then how did it evolve into the shred, and what did that do for you, and what does that even mean to shred? Oh, you're on mute.
I muted while you were talking, and then I didn't unmute. I'm really excited about this call because it's life-changing. And I don't know if any of you on this call have ever been stuck or know people who have been stuck, who have been on every diet known to man and nothing works, where their energy is getting lower, they're getting sick more often. And it's like I'm being on a slippery slope. And that's kind of where I was at in 2010. And I actually landed in the office of a local chiropractor in Southern Oregon. And he's actually the first doctor that really talked to me about nutrition and things that were serving me and things that weren't. And there was a lot of things that weren't. I was a busy single mom with 2 kids. I worked in corporate. We had a lot of business lunches, which are not all that healthy. Where I was eating on the go. I had a very stressful job. And you combine all of that of being in your 40s and going through menopause and going into my 50s, and I was a train wreck. And I just knew that if I didn't do something seriously, it was going to get worse. And so he asked me to give up some things and initially, and to get on these concentrated plant powders. And I was a little skeptical. And he asked me to drink some shakes and he explained why. And I think the best way to show you where I was at is to show you a picture. So I'm going to share my screen just really quickly. Maybe. Where'd it go? Right here. So this was me on the right, and my husband, Clyde, is on the left. And we've been married 4 years. I know,
Take a
4
good look at
years.
this, because when you guys see the next slide, your mind is going to be
You're going to be
blown.
mind blown. So my husband, when I first met him, was a train wreck as well, as you can see. And nobody had ever talked to him about nutrition either. And so here we are. And this is why I am a believer and bulletproof on what the shred can do for people when they put their mind to it. And sometimes you have to take it. I had to take it a little bit slower. I was desperate. I wanted to jump in. I did everything that anybody asked me to, I did it. And with Clyde, I had to do it in little baby steps.
Can we go back one time? Just go back once again, especially looking at Clyde.
I know. It's really, I know when we look back at old pictures, we're like, what? Yeah, look at him. Yeah. And at this point in his life, he was on 3 different blood pressure medications. He suffered from gout. He had 10 inches of his colon removed from diverticulitis. And I was on 5 different medications. I was on a statin drug. I was on metformin. I was on pain medication and muscle relaxants. And I'd been on those for 10 years. 10 years. He had been on his medication for 20. And then when we get over here, when we've made all these changes, I'm off all my medications and have been for 10 years, 12 years actually. And Clyde is only on a little bit of blood pressure medication, and that is it. That's all he takes. So it is really life-changing. And I'm going to stop the share. But that's kind of why I actually have incorporated it into kind of a lifestyle for us. We go longer than the 10 days. We actually live it. So it's made a big difference.
And the shred is about shredding habits that don't serve.
Right.
As you move along and bringing on new habits that will make you better. The shred is 10 days, the first Monday of the month, and it's 10 days after that. And then whether you choose to do the shred for the rest of the month or not is totally up to you. And maybe you'll adapt some of it and other parts you'll leave behind. What I love about it is it's the first Monday of every month. So you always get to do a do-over. If you feel like you didn't do it quite the way you wanted to, you get to do a do-over.
Right. And a lot of people ask me, like, why do you keep shredding? Like, why are you involved in the first 10 days? Because even the slightest little tweak, like if I increase my exercise, if I'm drinking more water, or I dial it back to not eating after 4:30 or 5, I see significant changes.
Yeah.
So
Kristen, and I'd like to, I should have actually, introduced you, Carrie, as not only my good friend, but all of the things that you've done. This is a woman with lots of talents, guitar and drums, and foster mom of over 200 girls, and corporate America. And so the list goes on. And Kristen is an amazing mom of 3 boys, traveled all over the world with her husband, who was in the Army, right?
He was Air Force.
Air Force. And it really is important to get that right, I know. And had to move every 3 years and meet people all over the world where they traveled. And what's so cool about, besides who she is and all the ways that she gives and her generosity in her heart, is she's a registered dietitian. So I can call her up and say, somebody told me to eat like this. What do you think? And I really value her opinion. So if you would tell a little bit about your story, Kristen, that would be great.
Yeah, well, I joined the company in 2017 and I immediately saw the value of the shred. And I think it is because I'm a dietitian. I'm a dietitian that doesn't really like diet culture. I really 100% believe that when you go on a diet, you eventually go off a diet. And so we gotta leave that mentality behind, and we just gotta work on what can we do for the rest of our lives that will make a difference in the end. Even I tell people I'd rather see you do one change forever than to do 10 changes for 10 days. So, or 20 changes, change everything and only have it last for 10 days. We know that we can't really impact a lifetime in 10 days or 20 days. But if we keep doing little 10 days at a time and keep working on habits that can last forever, we can make a ton of impact. And it's just little teeny tweaks that you just keep going with. You do it for 10 days at a time. Sometimes one of those changes might carry over to the next 20 days of the month. And then you start back again and you see if you can just build on those habits. And that to me is, that just made sense to me right off the bat. And for me, on the outside, when I started shredding, I looked pretty healthy, was doing triathlon training and whatnot, but inside I was kind of falling apart a little bit. And the shred has done a couple things for me. It's helped me to, I really believe it has helped me to sail through menopause. And, I have not experienced the, I can't maintain my weight thing, because I was at a pretty good weight before I went through menopause, and I continue to kind of breeze through that, that period of my life, without major hot flashes or weight gain, and so I really think that the lifestyle, implementing it while I was going through that other transition in my life, just made it so much easier. And the other thing that I like to say is, I had knee replacement surgery 16 months ago, and 8 weeks after I had surgery, I rode my bike 20 miles, and by 6 months post-op, I was out on the ski hill again. It is just the way that you live. Never once have I told a person, oh, don't eat, you shouldn't eat that many fruits and vegetables. That's kind of what the shred is. Like, as a dietitian, I've never told people, oh, don't eat fruits and vegetables, because that's going to really steer you down the wrong path. And these habits are the habits that you see in the textbooks, in the literature, as things that you just do for a healthy lifestyle. I'm doing a 50-hour continuing education thing on integrative and functional medicine. And it's 1,000 pages, and it's all these guidelines that are in the shred.
Yeah.
So I can't emphasize enough, like, how much it is in line with how we should be eating. And you don't have to be perfect. We just start, we do a little bit, and we keep building on it.
That was beautiful. And I just want to add, for those of you that are just seeing this shred for the first time, is the recommended shred, if you're going to embrace the whole thing. And again, we always love to meet you where you're at. If you want to just do part of it and see if that makes a difference, that's great. But the whole shred is to reduce or eliminate gluten and dairy and alcohol and processed foods for those 10 days. Add in lots of water, get lots of take some breath, get a little bit of stress relief, have a good night's sleep. So I don't know if I've missed something else in terms of the guidelines.
Exercise most days. And I think gluten, dairy, processed foods. Did you say caffeine and alcohol?
Oh, yeah, caffeine and alcohol. And it's reduce or eliminate. When we first did it, I went gung-ho. And since then on the shred, sometimes I don't do it perfectly. I don't drink real coffee, because you don't want to see me on real coffee. It's not a good picture. But, right? Anybody that's seen me like that. But I do love decaf once in a while. And so, I'll have that decaf, which has some caffeine in it, or I'll have whatever. My hardest problem is not eating. That's the one we missed. Not eating. Notice I didn't think of that one. Not even after 6 p.m. Man, I'm dying for my 8 o'clock popcorn. So sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't. And I still feel like I'm a shredder. So that's the first thing. So for all of you that want to know more about the shred, talk to the person that invited you on the call, look and read the guidelines. We have amazing cookbooks that'll help you shred easier. The whole thing couldn't be better. But what we're also talking about tonight is, how do we involve more people in our shred? How do we invite them in our community? And what do you do? So I'm going to start again with you, Carrie. How do you invite people? What do you say to them? And how do you invite them to join you in the shred?
I really start talking to people during the shred that are not shredding, my customers and prospects. I start talking to them while we're in the midst of the shred, and then afterwards. So I'm talking to them, and a lot of them, they watch me on social media, and their first thing is like, I could never eat like you eat. And I said, I don't want you to. Like, I want you to just be able to, you know, embrace even one or two. You're doing a lot of this stuff already. Like, you're already taking your capsules. Let's see if we could, you know, just tip your toe in the water a little bit, and maybe you drink more water this 10 days. Maybe that's the one simple change you're going to do, or maybe you up your exercise. Let's just try a little bit. So I try to get them started with one little step.
And you start a month ahead. So you're talking now, December 5th for January 5th.
For January.
By the way, as you saw Kristen's eyes light up, everyone in the world and their mother and their brother want to either lose weight or get trim or gain weight or do something physical different than what they've done the year before. So now is the time. And right when you're in the middle, say, I'm in the middle of it right now, and this is what it looks like. You can also invite your friends to be in our wellness community. And I'm sure some of you that are on different teams on the call tonight have a, you know, wellness community that you can invite your people to, and they don't even have to be a customer. You can just say, why don't you join our wellness community and just see what we're up to? And then they'll get to see some fun things that the community is doing. And by the way, if any of you have not checked out Live Healthy, Be Happy, if you're part of it, there's been interviews this time. We've not only interviewed each other, but there's been an interview of a shredder that Kirsten, you did that was lovely. So we're really upping our game in the Live Healthy, Be Happy group to really make shredding something that you really want to experience. So Kristen, how do you, because, and these, by the way, these women are getting 5+ shredders at least every single month to join them, either past customers that are re-shredding or brand new shred customers. How are you doing that, Kristen? What's your tip?
Yeah, I have people join our shred group anytime. So I don't necessarily run it like, oh, you have to get in on the first Monday of the month. It doesn't matter, right? We're only looking for small change. So I'll tell people, you know what, let's get your product. You'll put you into the shred group, and all you're going to do for the first 20 days, if we're 20 days out from the next shred, I say, the only thing I want you to get used to is just taking those capsules, which is the same as you would tell any customer, right? But now they're in this group that they're going to get all this love and support. And so they're like a VIP customer at that point. I'm just putting them in the group so that they can kind of get a taste, because as the shred group dies down a little bit in between, but we still try to keep good content in there. So they're still getting they're getting fed a little bit, but you're just telling them what to do. You just say, we're not going to worry about all the shred guidelines. We're just going to get you started on the capsules. And I prefer to do it that way anyway, because I just think it's easier if someone comes in and they're already tolerating their capsules by the time the shred starts. So I get people started. I'll do it. We're starting the shred today. I'll have someone come in at the very end of the shred and go, oh, it's okay. Just let's start now, you know. But I just tell them we're going to just start with this one thing. And that's usually starting with the capsules, maybe some shakes if they're taking them too. Maybe telling them just to look at their shred cookbook and find one recipe they want to try. You have to make it easy, because lifestyle change is hard, and diet lifestyle change is really hard. People, if we make it too hard, people can't do it.
Right. And if I thought that I had to do the shred and not eat after 6 o'clock, I mean, I did that, you know. I think I've done a shred one time 100%, like did not miss a thing. And since that one shred, I will shred, but there'll be something that I don't do quite right. But in the end, I always feel better after that 10 days. And what I love about it for me is, even though I might not be doing all the things, it refocuses me. So if I've had a bad week or a bad couple of weeks eating ice cream every night, I don't do that. Then this gets me off. You didn't understand that, did you, Carrie?
No,
I tried to blur it a little bit, but it gets me off of that habit of doing something every night that doesn't really serve me, right? So then you've got some shredders that have joined you. They've gotten great results. How do you keep them coming back to join the shred? Because on our Facebook group, the shred lifestyle sort of happens all month, but we really focus on those things, those 10 days, like doing less caffeine, doing less alcohol. We post things about that to encourage people. And then the rest of the month, we're just posting healthy recipes and talking about things that we do to keep ourselves healthy. But how do you get people coming back and back, joining you to do the shred each month? And we'll start with Kristen.
Yeah, I mean, in our group, we really we've tried to create a community. I think, you know, it's like live healthy, be happy. We don't have to kick people out of that group. There's no bad comments. People are so supportive. And I think people want to come back because they feel it's a pretty small group. I think there's 300 people in our shred group. I think the people feel supported in there. They feel like they can ask questions. We do little things like we have little prizes that we give away. We give away usually an Amazon gift card every day for some little contest that we've come up with. So we try to encourage people with a little contest or a little workout things. But I think that the thing that we try to do also is just keep it very all encompassing. Like the shred is a lifestyle program, and it's a program that you can do when you're on vacation. It drives me nuts when people say, oh, I can't shred, I'm going on vacation. Because let's face it, we're never going to get 10 perfect days in life. I mean, what Nikki's been doing the shred for 20 years and you've had one perfect shred, right? Life is messy. It's never perfect. So I tell people, well, that's awesome that you're going on vacation. Like you're going to take your capsules and you're still going to be shredding. Like it might not be a perfect shred, but you're shredding. And I think if you get people to believe that and they are improving their lifestyle, they're going to stay, you know, in your community to continue to get motivated and continue to be filled up and to continue to feel part of this group that's going to continue to encourage and embrace where they're at in their journey and push them forward just a little bit.
And I love the idea of celebrating. So you're going to go on vacation. If you thought that every time you took your capsules, if you just thought, I'm so grateful I have these fruits and vegetables running through my blood every day to protect me from the 5 daiquiris that I'm going to have tonight sitting on the beach, that celebration of your good health in that moment will propel you to make possibly better choices during the day, even when you're on vacation. And I did have a vacation tip that somebody gave me once that I have been able to do on some vacations, where the first 3 days of a week vacation, you eat better, like you do just better, because you can't keep it up. And so you just decide, okay, the first 3 days I'm going to do a little bit better, but the last 4, man, I'm having the daiquiris and I'm drinking and eating and having all the party I want. But sometimes just setting it up like that will help you have a more successful vacation where you come back and, you know, instead of gaining 10 pounds, you gain 5 pounds. Just a thought.
Yeah. Or just say, I'm going to have a healthy breakfast every morning. After that, it may go wherever it's going to go, but I'm going to wake up and I'm going to eat a healthy breakfast, or I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to drink a glass of water in between each daiquiri, you know, like whatever. So, I mean, those in the scheme of life, like I say, life is messy. Life is never going to be perfect, but what can we do in the mess, in the chaos, that sort of keeps us a little bit grounded? Because I think the diet culture has encouraged all of us to just go, oh, forget it, I can't do that, it's too hard. Well, it's not going to get any easier. I'm here to tell you, like, life isn't ever going to like ease up. Everyone's waiting for it to like ease up, but there's always something. We know how it goes, right? So we need to figure out how to embrace change within the chaos of a normal, healthy life.
Life just keeps lifing. That's the way I like to say it. You know, it's not that it's going to ease up, it just keeps lifing on us no matter what it is. So just paying attention. And I love the idea. I think it was Catherine Lee that said, I'm a vegan until noon. I love that. It's like, I'm a vegan until noon, and then I'm more. So those are the kinds of things to think about. I'm going to just step back and look at the gallery and see if does anybody have any questions. Does anybody have something that they'd like to know?
I do. You mentioned having 300 to join yours. So how do you join? Do you just invite them to the website?
Yeah, Noreen, she's talking. I'm just going to do a real quick answer on that. Just like you would invite people to live healthy, be happy, that's what she's talking about. So they've got a little bit different of a group than we do, but ours is basically the same. And what we like to say, Kristen, you may say something different. I love to say to even a person that's not yet a customer, when we're talking about health, I say, my gosh, we have a wellness community where we give, you know, exercise tips and recipes. Do you want to join it? And then you just invite them to the Live Healthy, Be Happy Facebook group.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In our shred group, you have to be at least on the fruits and vegetables to be in the shred group. That's the only requirement. But other than that, You know, it's a VIP page, really.
Right.
It's a way to treat our customers really well and give them a program if they want it to go along with their
So their Facebook group is a little bit different than ours. Ours is anybody that can come on that's invited. And then we focus hopefully and get people, you know, growing attraction to what we're doing.
Yep.
So
Where do we find the cookbook?
it's all in the, well, number one, it's in boards. You can find
Yeah.
everything in boards, don't forget, but it's also in the guide section of the Facebook group. In the guide section, you'll see a whole section with Facebook with groups.
Okay,
But it's
okay.
easier, it's actually easier to find in boards. So thank you. Any other questions?
I just have a comment. Oh,
Go ahead.
hi, sorry. Sorry, everybody, can't breathe. This is Beth. How's everybody? I just wanted to say one important thing about it is, and Nikki said this, inviting people to the group rather than just adding people to the group.
Mhm.
Because I just happened to see a friend of mine post somebody, I guess you can add like at everyone to one of your Facebook groups. And I was like, oh my God, who would do that? Like it just, that's why I'm like getting all these invitations from people. So it's like really important for me to always just invite and just ask them their permission to
Great.
invite them.
I'm so glad you brought that up, Beth. That was
Yeah.
really perfect.
I do a lot of mine on Facebook or social media, and I just kind of look for people that I'm Facebook friends with when I see a comment about you know that just resonates with me, like oh my gosh, this would be such a great thing for this person. I just sometimes message them and go, oh my gosh, I saw that you're going to need shoulder surgery and that you're, you know, having a lot of inflammation issues or whatever they said. And then I'll go, you know, I help run a program that really you might like. I don't know if it's for you, but if you'd like more information, I'd be happy to share it with you. If not, that's okay too. But I just reach out like that with something that they've said. And I've gotten a lot of customers doing that.
Yeah, me too.
Really
And I think the other thing, Nikki, too, for me as helping to support people, sometimes they just need a little help, like, you know, what do I do if I give up dairy? What do I substitute? It's like that little education piece, or like, oh, do you have a recipe for a different breakfast where you can just, you know, so you're really forming that relationship and you're helping them. And that helps to bring them back because they want that help. Because typically diets don't, that doesn't provide that. And I always tell people, like, we're striving for progress, not perfection. Like, you know, everybody's different.
Yeah, progress, but not perfection. That was really great. And so the other thing that you can do is if you are inviting somebody new into your Facebook group, you know, and you added them in, tag them in a message that you think they'll relate to. Like if they've ever asked you about the cookbooks or the recipes or exercise, find something that's in your Facebook group already and tag them, put their name on it so that they can be directed there. That's also helpful. So I think we're just about done. Any last minute quick questions? Yeah,
I think the other thing, the really important thing is and I think a lot of you are Juice Plus partners here, but if you're going to invite people to the shred, you need to be a product of the product. You need to be a shredder. So, and you need to embrace, like, if you haven't quite gotten there yet, if you can't really embrace it, that's okay. Come and be an active participant in the shred group and really work on loving it so much that it's easy to share, because people want to see what they don't really want to see. A stock photo that says shred 10 and it has a beautiful meal that, you know, the shred 10 photographers took. They want to see what, you know, you're doing. They want to see how you're fitting in exercise to a busy day. They want to see what you're eating. You know, they want to see your picture of whatever it is. So you really have to show them. You have to be the sort of the gold standard for the next person that comes along. You have to be that expert that says, come do this with me. This is such an awesome program and you're going to get so healthy and I just love it. And, you know, come do it with me. And you really have to have that energy going into the shred. I think it's going to make it so much easier and so much more fun if you can really embrace that part of it.
And I just, such a good point, Kristen. And the other thing that it reminds me of is if you are inviting somebody in to do the shred, why don't you can even be buddies and say, hey, let's do this together, even though we're part of the bigger community and there's going to be focus on that. I'll tag you in messages, or maybe you can tag me, or, you know, the other thing that all of you can do in whatever group you're in is comment on people's posts. That's really important. If people see you commenting, like, I love this recipe, or I tried this one already, or whatever you can do to help your group have lots of activity, take it on once a week or once a day or whatever, and just check out. Ours is Live Healthy, Be Happy, but whatever group you're in, check it out and make a comment. And finally is see if your person wants to be a buddy. I once had a water drinking buddy that we decided neither one of us were drinking water. And so here the deal was, is every time we picked up our water bottles to drink, we had to think of each other. And it would make me laugh. I'd pick mine up and I'd think, hey, Joanne, I'm having a swig of water for you. And it just made drinking water so much fun. And she said the same thing. So that's something you can do, is actually shred with some friends and the group at large. So I think we've covered it all. I hope so. There's not, if you really need anything, make sure to ask your upline. If you can't find the cookbooks, if you can't find the guide that tells you what you're reducing and what you're doing, make sure to ask somebody to help find that for you. And with that said,
is this recorded? Is the recording going to be available? Because I didn't get in at the beginning.
yes,
I wish we heard it
I don't
all.
know who asked. Who's that asked?
Melody.
Hi, Melody. It will be, it's actually live streamed into the Heat team page, which is an easy page to find.
Okay.
It's also going to be on the
You know
Heat
how to find it.
the Heat YouTube channel.
Uh-huh.
So there's two ways to find it. And then if you're on the Heat team, it's in boards, and we have a JP University that just has every class we've done. So there's
Okay.
3 places you can find it depending on where you are in the group.
Okay, thank you.
Heat might be the easiest. We're live streaming it there right now.
Okay.
All right, everybody, great question. Have a great next to the rest
Thank
of
you. Bye-bye.
Hang on a second.
Thank you guys for joining.
Hang on a
Thank
second,
you.
guys. Hang on. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Mike Clifton, Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Mike Clifton, he has been with the company just as long as I have, 32 years, and he's more excited today in the position he's in the company than he was 30 years ago. And it'll be really fun for him to share a little bit of history and about our company. So that's tomorrow night, 6 p.m., same station, different time. All right. Good night, everybody.
Thanks,
you so
Nikki.
much. Thank
night.
you.
Night.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Thank you.
Night.
Thank you.
Welcome, everybody.